Have you ever heard of a ghost fleet in the middle of a desert? It sounds like something out of a science fiction movie, but I'm telling you, it's real. We're talking about the Taklamakan Desert in western China, one of the most desolate and remote places on Earth. And what have satellite images found there? Full-scale, incredibly detailed mock-ups of United States Navy warships, including aircraft carriers and destroyers. Now, this isn't just a pile of sand shaped like a boat. These are sophisticated targets, complete with instrumentation and rail systems, likely designed to simulate a moving vessel. Satellite photos from companies like Maxar Technologies have revealed these structures with stunning clarity. We can see the unmistakable outline of a Ford-class aircraft carrier, the pinnacle of American naval power, and Arleigh Burke-class guided missile destroyers. These aren't crude representations. They are meticulously constructed targets built in the middle of nowhere. So the billion-dollar question is, why? Why would China go to the trouble of building a fake American navy in the desert, thousands of kilometers from the nearest ocean? The answer, as you might have guessed, is all about practice. This desert facility is a massive weapons testing range. Military analysts widely believe these mock-ups are used for one primary purpose: to test and refine China as anti-ship ballistic missiles, often called carrier killers. Think about it. Hitting a moving target like an aircraft carrier at sea, hundreds or even thousands of miles away, is an incredibly complex challenge. An aircraft carrier isn't just a ship. It's a floating fortress, a sovereign territory protected by a carrier strike group of destroyers, cruisers, and submarines. It's a multi-billion-dollar asset with over 5,000 personnel on board. Taking one out would be a monumental feat of military engineering. China has been developing a family of missiles, like the DF-21D and the newer, longer-range DF-26, specifically designed for this purpose. These aren't your typical cruise missiles. They are ballistic missiles, meaning they fly into the upper atmosphere, even near space, before plummeting down towards their target at hypersonic speeds that's more than 5 times the speed of sound. This high-arcing trajectory and incredible speed make them extremely difficult to intercept. But to make these missiles effective, you need a very sophisticated kill chain. First, you have to find the carrier group. This requires a vast network of satellites, over-the-horizon radar, drones, and maritime patrol aircraft all working together to locate the target in the vastness of the ocean. Once you find it, you have to track it continuously. Then you need to feed that real-time targeting data to the missile launcher. Finally, the missile's own terminal guidance system has to acquire the target and make last-second adjustments as it screams toward the deck. Each step in this chain is a potential point of failure, and that's where the desert targets come in. By building these realistic mock-ups, the People's Liberation Army Rocket Force can test their entire system, from satellite detection to the final impact. They can practice identifying the targets, launching the missiles, and evaluating how well their guidance systems work against a target that looks exactly like the real thing. The rails these mock-ups are sometimes mounted on suggest they can even simulate the movement of a ship at sea, making the tests even more realistic. It's a live-fire dress rehearsal for a potential future conflict. So what does this all mean in the bigger picture? This desert ghost fleet is a clear signal of China's military priorities and strategic ambitions. It's not a secret they're hiding. In a way, they want us to see it. It's a form of strategic messaging. The primary focus is on what military strategists call anti-access area denial, or a 2AD. The goal is to create a bubble around China's coastline, making it too dangerous for the US Navy to operate freely, especially in a conflict over Taiwan or in the South China Sea. For decades, US aircraft carriers have been the undisputed symbols of American power projection. They can sail anywhere in the world and enforce US interests. China's carrier killer missiles, and the desert targets used to perfect them, are a direct challenge to that dominance. They are designed to hold these valuable assets at risk, forcing the US military to think twice before intervening in a regional crisis. Let's talk about the two most likely flashpoints: Taiwan and the South China Sea. China considers Taiwan a renegade province and has never renounced the use of force to bring it under its control. Any US intervention to defend Taiwan would almost certainly involve its Pacific Fleet, spearheaded by its aircraft carriers. By developing a credible threat to those carriers, China hopes to deter the United States from getting involved in the first place. If a conflict did break out, these missiles would be China's frontline weapon to neutralize America's most powerful conventional assets. Similarly, In the South China Sea, China has made expansive territorial claims, building and militarizing artificial islands despite international rulings against it. The U.S. Navy regularly conducts freedom of navigation operations, or FONOPs, sailing its warships through these contested waters to challenge China's claims and uphold international law. The ability to threaten these U.S. ships, particularly the carrier strike groups that lead such operations, gives China significant leverage in this tense geopolitical standoff. This is a classic example of an asymmetric strategy. The United States has more aircraft carriers and a more experienced navy. Instead of trying to match the U.S. carrier for carrier, which would take decades and trillions of dollars, China has invested in a cheaper, more direct counter: the missile. It's a cost-effective way to challenge a much more expensive system. A single anti-ship ballistic missile costs a fraction of a multi-billion-dollar aircraft carrier. The existence of these desert targets has, of course, spurred a response from the U.S. The Navy is developing new defensive technologies, like advanced interceptor missiles and electronic warfare systems, to counter the threat. They're also changing their tactics, focusing on operating in a more dispersed and unpredictable way to make it harder for China to find and target their ships. It's a high-stakes game of cat and mouse, a technological arms race playing out between the world's two biggest powers. In conclusion, these strange silent ship targets in the Taklamakan Desert are far more than just a military curiosity. They are a physical manifestation of a major shift in global military power. They represent China's focused effort to challenge American naval supremacy and reshape the strategic landscape of the Indo-Pacific. They tell a story of ambition, technology, and rising tension. As we watch the satellite images of this ghost fleet, we're not just looking at metal and sand. We're looking at the front line of a 21st century great power competition. The silence of the desert hides the sounds of a new era in warfare being rehearsed. Thanks for watching. If you found this look into modern military strategy interesting, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the stories shaping our world. See you in the next video.